Hey guys, how's it going? Today I want to bring you on a tour of my front porch. I've been moving all of my houseplants outside and I'm growing so many different types that you've got to see what I'm growing. I actually only have about half of my houseplant collection out here, and I've been kind of shuffling them around trying to figure out who is going to do best in the right light, because on this end of my porch it gets a little more sunlight than the other end, and some of my plants don't want that direct sunlight. So I'm sort of like kind of doing a little switcheroo with some plants. But anyway, I don't have it all figured out just yet, but I do want to just kind of take you on a quick tour, show you how I'm maintaining them outside. We'll talk about their care and just kind of show you what I'm growing. I have expansive gardens here. I've got several garden tours on my channel, and I've been actually doing a weekly garden tour just so you can see how things are growing and changing. And as part of that, I'm doing a tour of my front porch to kind of show you all of the plants that I'm growing, as well as some of the flowers that I have blooming here today. If you've been following me for a while, you read my blog, you've read my books, you know how much I love to grow flowers, but I also love foliage too. Foliage is just as important as flowers, and I never met a houseplant that I didn't like. There are lots of easy ones to grow, and I've really, over the last year, started expanding my repertoire. I've really gotten into collecting different types of houseplants, some more rare houseplants, and I'm really having a good time with it. Now, I've been growing houseplants for many years, and I have to admit, in the beginning, when I first started flower gardening, I really was not very good at houseplants at all. And so my way of learning how to grow houseplants was starting with like the easiest, most hard to kill houseplants like snake plants and spider plants, to kind of get my sea legs, learn how things grow, and then slowly I started adding some more difficult plants to my collection. Well, over the last few years, I've really gotten into growing houseplants, and I've started now collecting them. And so I've got a bunch of different varieties of like philodendrons and Hoyas and so many fun plants that are actually pretty easy to grow, that might be a little more rare or might be a little bit more cool than just your average snake plant. Are you ready to get your bloom on? Let's go. So to give you the full effect, we're going to just walk up to the front porch where we pass by this awesome view with all of my beautiful alliums blooming. You guys remember the tulip garden that was here? It is gone. I have since moved it down to the lower garden down there. And right now we've got my pansies blooming. I've got a bunch of perennials coming in, but the alliums right now, Globemaster, are really taking over the show. If I pan around to this side, look at that. My false indigo is all blooming. It's so pretty. Got a good directions birdhouse here that, yes, birds do live in. There is a small nest of birds, little baby birds, in the front porch wreath. I recently added some hanging baskets of scaevola, love scaevola, and you know, everything's looking so good. I've got some penstemon down there, and I love how it kind of goes with the barberry. Don't love barberry. This is actually going to come out at some point. It is an invasive species, and I don't love it. I actually would love to replace this whole area with hydrangeas, but I just really haven't gotten around to it yet. I still have my borders of pansies going, and I still have pansies going in these planters. I will be changing them up soon, probably over the next week or so, with some summer blooming annuals that you know, will brighten up the porch area. So I really have a good sized porch, and it's a great place to house all my houseplants. I do have a lot, as I mentioned earlier, and so I've needed to find new ways to display them. And so since my collection has grown, I have needed to buy additional plant stands and tables and things like that, just so I have a place to keep them all so that I can keep them out of direct sunlight. Now, a lot of these cannot take any direct sunlight, or the leaves might scorch, or it could ruin some of the variegated foliage. So I really try to keep them as close to the house as possible so that they're outside, they get that humidity and the awesome temperatures that are happening right now as we head into summer, but they're not getting that direct sunlight that could actually damage their leaves. So anyway, as we approach the first area of my front porch, I've got my 2 porch rockers here with some outdoor throw pillows. Chris and I come out here, we'll have some coffee or a glass of wine. And it's really quite cozy because when we sit there, I'm gonna pan around, we can enjoy the view out here. And especially when these trees are in bloom, my flowering crab apples, it's great. But we'll come out here even during the winter and just kind of soak it all in, you know? It's just a great place to let the dogs be outside and kind of enjoy nature in a protected setting. Just real quick before we head on in, I do have these little obelisks that I got from Shop Terrain. I love them, they're really pretty, and I'm not sure what I'm gonna be putting in these planters yet. I was thinking about doing fairy trail hydrangea, but I don't know, I might just go back to flowering annuals instead. Still kind of thinking it through, but for now, you know, pansies are kind of still doing their thing. You see those little lines there? I found them at the Wilmington flea market a couple of years ago. Wilmington, Vermont, we have a cabin up there and they do an outdoor flea market every weekend from like May through October, and I found some of the best stuff there. So I love those little lions. I saw them with my husband, and while we were shopping around, I said, you know what, those are really, really cool. And he kind of like randomly put them here and I kind of like them. All right, so let's talk a little bit about my plant stands. I bought these a couple of months ago for the sunroom. And while I love them for holding plants, they were a little bit tall for the space. And when we were sitting in the sunroom, couldn't really see out. So I probably will use these on the porch only just to kind of fit more plants in a very small amount of space. I really do like them though. So they're really perfect for being out here. But why don't we start right to left and we'll go over some of the plants that I'm growing. So for starters, I have this lavender tree that I'm growing here. I actually just bought this. Kind of thought it would be kind of fun for the front porch, and lavender is a great pest repelling plant, so it kind of helps ward off like mosquitoes and stuff, just that aroma, and it smells so good. I thought this would be a great spot for them. This is a begonia that I had from last year that I overwintered indoors, and it's kind of starting to bounce back. So first up is my snake plant. I've actually had this snake plant for could even be 20 years. I mean, I've had this for a really, really, really long time, and I've divided it, and I've got probably like 6 plants just from this plant. If you've never grown snake plant before, or you're new to growing houseplants, think you can't grow things, start with one of these. They're so easy to grow and really great to learn on because they thrive on neglect. Now in this spot, he gets hit with a lot of sun in the morning, very early, probably until like 8 or 9. But it can take it. So I've had it out here, I kind of started testing it out, and it's already used to the conditions. Foliage looks good, so he's staying. Next up is this asparagus fern. I've had this one for a few years now, and I just keep bringing it inside and out. I originally bought it to be in one of my containers with some apple blossom begonias. I decided to keep it, overwinter it, and so now I just grow it as a houseplant. One of my favorites to grow is the rubber plant. This is one of 2 that I have. This is Ficus elastica burgundy. Look at that foliage. Isn't it awesome? So gorgeous. I have had it now for a little while, and every time when I put it outside, it just keeps pushing out more and more growth. Now it really thrived inside my home as well. I was feeding it all year long. I fed it all year round with an organic fertilizer, and it really responded by pushing out more and more new growth, and it's just doing amazing. The planter, I actually bought this from Etsy. I'm not sure if I can link it here, but if not, I'll link it in the description. It's so cool, right? I love it, and I wish they had others, but it's so cool. It looks so awesome with this plant. I've also got a few begonias out here. I've got a few different varieties, really gotten into growing begonias over the last few years. You cannot beat their foliage. Look at them. Isn't that so cool? Then I've got pitcher plant over here. I'm new to growing this one, but it's actually grown about 3 times the size since I got it like 8 months ago. Here's a beautiful Tradescantia. Look at that foliage. Isn't that so pretty? Super easy to grow and propagate. I love the colors. So right now, my crowning achievement is this Monstera Thai constellation. When I first got it, seriously, it was so small. It was like a plug with like 2 to 3 leaves. It was so small. So I've been, you know, taking care of it and repotting it. I always repot my plants now in these clear nursery pots because you can actually see the root systems on it, and it's a great indicator to know how wet or dry your soil is. And it's just a lot easier than having them planted directly in, like, you know, one of these containers where you can't see anything. Love, love, love them. So anyway, I've been growing these in clear plastic nursery pots, and I've had this Monstera constellation for a little over a year. I want to say maybe like 15 months. And look at it, it's got its first fenestration. I feel like a proud parent. So excited. I cannot wait to watch these leaves really, you know, get that Monstera look with the fenestrations. So cool. It's such a cool plant. Surprisingly easy to grow. And nowadays it's actually pretty easy to find too. So if you're interested in growing it, I would definitely give it a try. This here is one of my Hoyas, black margin. I'm trying to train it up this little trellis. Found this little vintage planter at the Wilmington flea market. And then I've got rope compacta, both variegated and just, you know, your regular one. They're both new to me. I love the curlicue foliage, don't you? It is so cool. But when I bought it, then I really wanted to try the variegated one because it gets like these little bits of pink in the foliage too. So pretty. I understand they're slow growers, but I have to say I cannot wait for them to bloom. They're doing pretty well in this spot, and I can't wait to watch them grow. I do want to put them in hanging planters at some point, but right now they're just in these small planters, and I have them in this little plastic nursery pot. This one is Syngonium Batik. He actually suffered a little bit of frost damage when I received it. I mail ordered it, so he's still kind of bouncing back, but look, getting new foliage. Such a pretty plant. Got another Hoya plant. This one actually isn't a hanging basket, that I just kind of bent it down so you can't see it. So since everything is all foliage here, and I just got these new, to me anyway, planters from Ziegler's Statuary in Andover, New Jersey. My husband and I were looking for statues. We came up short, yada, yada, yada. I saw these, I loved them. I thought they would look great flanking my front door. So I decided to tuck in some super petunias from Proven Winners just to kind of jazz it up a little bit. Because there is so much foliage going on out here, and you know me, I love the blooms. So I don't want to go too close to the wreath because there are baby birds in there and I don't want the mom to get upset. I do have Christmas cactus here. This was actually just a random branch that broke off and I just stuck it in soil. I know, the backstories of houseplants, right? Like there's so many, but check this out. It's like houseplant alleyway, am I right? Like, look at how many I have. And this is only half my collection. So first up, we've got this philodendron Birkin. Look at the foliage on that one. Ah, love it. I've got a Sansevieria. Then I've got Pilea. This one here is ZZ Raven. I love the contrast of the dark foliage. When new foliage emerges, you get this like chartreusey green, and then it ages to this like black. It's so cool. This tall plant here is Ficus. It's an umbrella plant. Look at that foliage, right? When I first got it, it was like half the size with like maybe a few leaves. It loves being outside. And I maintain it in an east-facing window, and it seems to really like that spot. Here I've got my peperomia plant. This is watermelon. Doesn't it look like watermelon? The foliage looks like watermelon. It's so cool, right? Got another Tradescantia, Pothos, Marble Queen, Philodendron Gloriosum. And then this one's a Scindapsus. I'm not actually sure which one it is. It is Moonlight. This one's newer to me. But look at the foliage. Isn't that so pretty? My Begonia Maculata. This plant loved being out here last year, bloomed like crazy. Love, love, love it. This is the mother Christmas cactus plant that I've had probably for like, I want to say 16, 17 years now. Anytime a branch breaks off, I just stick it in soil and it seems to like grow again. It's been in this pot for years. They do love to be root bound. I very rarely repot it. I think I've repotted this maybe twice since I've had it. Blooms a few times a year. One of my favorite easy plants to grow. I've also got fiddly fig. I struggled to grow this plant for many years. And I think in my old home, I wasn't getting enough light and it wasn't that humid. And so I just think it didn't love the conditions. I maintain mine here year round in a south facing window and it loves that spot. So as soon as it's warm enough, I move it outside and it loves to be out here, but inside I keep it in a south facing window and it really does well. I've got my pink princess philodendron, anthurium, neon pothos, white wizard philodendron, string of pearls. This one's variegated. I love that. Isn't that so cool? I've got a staghorn fern that I actually want to mount and hang on my wall. This one's new, so I just haven't done anything with it yet. Got another peperomia. I've got string of turtles over there. Peperonia, Golden Gate Bridge, another skin dapsus back there. That one's tricolor aglaonema in the back. And then I've got pilea in the back there. And then if we move up here, I've got a few other syngoniums. I've got ring of fire philodendron. I know this one's Three Kings. I'm gonna have to pop the names on the screen, but I know this one is Three Kings. This one is Syngonium milk confetti. Look at that foliage with the pretty little spots of pink. Another aglaonema, look at that foliage. This one is Hoya Crimson Princess. Look at how pretty that foliage is. Ah, another peperomia. So pretty. This is an anthurium crystallineum. Another aglaonema, which I think has seen better days, unfortunately. It happens. And then my alocasia frydek. So I'm still potting up some flowers, but this end of our porch, I also love to be out here, usually at the end of the day. It's such a pretty time to just like kind of look out into the gardens and swing on the porch rocker. This was here when we moved in and one of my favorite parts of this porch. It's one of my go-to spots every time I come out here, as a matter of fact. And I just love being out here. So also, just to kind of give you an idea of what else is planted back here, we've got an abelia, a dwarf albarada spruce, and a weigela. Isn't that so pretty? I love those blooms. We've got a very aggressive English ivy growing on the fence over there. And just to kind of swing around and give you a view, we've got some penstemon, viburnum. So cool. I love the different varieties of plants that I have going on right now. Like, they're just so much fun to grow. Now I have to say, all winter long, yes, it was a little bit more work because I was walking them individually to my sink and watering them and, you know, caring for them, yada, yada, yada. But it was great because I never felt like I got the winter blahs because I was constantly doing things with plants. Now I love to start seeds indoors, and I enjoy doing some indoor gardening things like, you know, forcing bulbs and things like that. But really tending to several houseplants really sort of made the winter just fly on by. So are there any houseplants that you saw here that you'd be interested in growing yourself? I'd love to hear more in the comments below. Let's chat. Well, I hope this video inspired you to grow plants that you may not have known before. And that's it, you guys. Thanks so much for joining me on the front porch today. I hope you enjoyed my houseplant tour and got some ideas of your own of things you might want to grow or plants that might look cool in your home that are easy to grow. I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy a beautiful day.